New construction. Welcome to your new home.
Not only are you spending twice as much as you fucking should on a house, the shit that we're dealing with for materials is absolute junk.
Every single new build.
Okay, so I don't know about you, but I've come across some videos that have me very concerned about some of the construction on new housing. Now, we all know that the market has been a complete wreck for several years. It's been bumped up in price basically across the board. People were going nuts during COVID, cash offers, over asking, no inspections, nothing. And it really pushed a lot of people into renting and the possibility of just renting for the rest of their lives, just being priced out. Now, we've seen in maybe the past year or so, it has kind of dropped off a little bit. I say that very lightly because the data is all over, but as somebody who is in the early stages of looking for a house, hopefully within the next year or so, when I see brand new articles come out from Redfin saying US home prices grew 0.5% in September alone, the fastest pace since April. On a year-over-year basis, home prices still rose 6%, and 13 of the 50 most populous US metros recorded a drop in home prices month over month. So it seems like a lot more people are getting out of these cities and going into these suburbs, which is currently where I rent and would like to live. So we're still seeing prices increase as the volume of sales going down, and then on top of it, you start seeing videos like this.
Every single new build. Every single one I do. They can never get the rafters connected to the ridge. Missing the counter flashing. In the garage. And no GFCI protection, even though it says it's protected. That should be sealed better. And we have a shower head leak. This door is supposed to be self-closing with a self-closing hinge, and there's not one in place. No air filter.
So it seems like a lot of the new houses being built in the entire communities / towns that are going up within a couple years are really poorly made. We have some of the comments from this video. My husband is an inspector and gets yelled at constantly by dismissive contractors calling him a deal killer. Lots of realtors don't want to work with him because he doesn't look the other way. So you have a lot of these construction companies making tons and tons of money because people are just buying more and more land, building these entire communities, house after house that looks the exact same, virtually the same floor plans, as quickly as they possibly can, and the margins are higher than ever. On top of the real estate agents getting a commission from every single sale, people just dumping out of the cities and moving into the suburbs. So we see extremely poor quality construction, and that was a $420,000 house, as we'll see, is about the median sale price for a house right now. This is the data we have for last month, which is the most recent that they have right now in September 2024. Median sale price is almost $430,000. It has gone up 4% year over year, even though you could see the number of homes sold drop by about 5%, but that doesn't really matter. Even though there's less sales overall, people are still keeping up the high prices. Now, I know that this is just a median for the entire country, so you could just go to Redfin and look up where you live in particular. We could just look real quick in North Carolina, where I live. The median sale price is $377, still up 3%, is less than the 400 and almost 30,000, but still very expensive. I don't have $370,000. And the number of homes sold way less down here, almost 10% drop. So that's an even bigger margin. Almost 10% less houses sold this year, but the price has still gone up.
New construction. Welcome to your new home. Haven't even made it in the house yet. Isn't that supposed to be a gap right there? Window frame's cracked. Got to seal up some nails. That's a decent sized foundation crack. And then starting to get diagonal stair step cracking, which points to structural movement. Brand new house. Okay, and in this same area, we start getting a pretty decent separation in these joined materials. I like how that looks. See that? Not much hanging over right there, but a good amount hanging over right there. It adds character. I need to backfill all this with more soil and sod. Look how much footing's exposed. Well, guess they're just gonna leave that there. It's broken.
So even though the last little clip isn't related, that was Dallas-Fort Worth, another city that is booming right now, because Austin was booming a couple years ago, especially during COVID, but a lot of people have been priced out of that already within a couple years. So a lot of people are moving over to the Dallas-Fort Worth area to start building up these houses. And a brand new house has structural movement. That was a top comment on this video. A brand new house with that much structural movement is insane. Wonder what it'll be like in 10 years. Okay, well, what are they supposed to do? Not make 180% profit? And that's the joke with a lot of these construction companies, just making the exact same house over and over again as fast as possible. Seeing this gives me zero hope for buying here in the next few months. And then the reply was, just make sure your house is inspected. Like I said, a lot of people didn't do that, especially buying houses during COVID. They just wanted to get into a house as fast as possible, and it almost became the norm to just deal with all of these problems and then have the brand new construction be less quality in general. Now, I know the argument is clearly to buy an older house. They were better made. Now, I think, at least from my experiences, there's a kind of middle ground, because where I used to live in New Jersey with my parents, they own a pretty old house, and I have seen time and time again my dad spend tons and tons of money on repairs to the house. Like, we didn't even have central air. There are just air conditioners. This house is pretty old. There was a pipe burst that they had to take up a third of the front lawn, and that cost thousands and thousands of dollars. There's a lot of issues with the house, primarily because it was built so long ago, and it's not like it's just going to last forever. But I personally live in a neighborhood that is exactly like this new construction. It's a lot tighter. I rent a townhouse that has 40 others connected to it that look exactly the same. If you end up Googling my address on maps, it's just a dirt patch. It doesn't even exist yet. That's how new this is. If you go across the street, you could see all these single family homes that are 25, 3,000 square feet, all right next to each other. They all look the exact same, and they are $550 minimum. Again, all brand new construction, built at record pace and sold for insane margins. Now, that's why I'm renting here. The rent has not caught up to the actual housing price in my area, so I'm basically allowed to live in a nicer area than I would actually be able to afford if I legitimately bought a house with a mortgage. But I wouldn't doubt in a couple years that all the rent around here would start getting ridiculously expensive as well. Now, I have heard stories with these construction companies building as quick as possible, making a ton of money, and then basically dissolving, filing for bankruptcy, and then starting over with a new company, doing it over and over again to be able to dodge anybody who has possible problems in the future with the construction of their house. Very, very dangerous. And I'm not trying to say that this is 100% the construction company's fault. Of course, you have somebody who's just trying to make as much money as possible and do it the cheapest, fastest way, but you're also going to see videos like this from construction workers.
Buy a house built in 2024, and I'm going to tell you why. Not only are you spending twice as much as you fucking should on a house, the shit that we're dealing with for materials is absolute junk. Yeah, sure, it looks great when you put siding on the outside and you can't see what the building materials are that you're dealing with. Of course it looks good. Called lipstick on a pig. Materials we get, if they ain't fucking warped, they're full of knots, they're full of wormholes. Wormholes! Can you imagine buying a new piece of lumber and having termites already in your house? I don't think so. Brand new sheet of plywood. Brand new. Pressure treated plywood. Supposed to be the best stuff around, right? No. Look, it's all splitting already. But you know what? I'm gonna nail that on your fucking house, cover it with siding, and you're gonna have to deal with it. Because that's what we got. We got no choice. What's the point of fixing it if my materials are crap? You know, what am I supposed to do? Good thing I have to cut that big part of the junk wood that's over there. I have to cut it all out because this is fucking bullshit. You can understand the frustration that I've had and am having on a year-to-year, day-to-day basis. It's just ridiculous. Last thing I want to do is repair somebody's rot with rotten wood. It just doesn't make sense to me, you know? What are we doing? Why?
So we have new houses being built as fast as possible by bad construction teams who are just looking for the profit margins, and then you have the good construction teams that have nothing but the worst material now to be able to build the house. So it's basically a lose-lose situation now. We had a lot of the material shortage during COVID, and it was really, really difficult to get wood. It shot through the roof. The prices were insane, but it doesn't look like anything has been fixed since then. Maybe the price has gone down, but apparently the quality of the materials have also gone down as well. So not only do you have to navigate the ever increasing prices for houses, but you have to look to see when it's built, because if it's brand new, it might not be the best construction because how quickly it was built up and then moved over to the next house and did the exact same thing. But if you buy a house that's too old, you could have some of the experiences like my dad had and having to constantly replace things that are finally falling apart, and nothing is cheap. It's never a $15, $20 fix. It's hundreds and thousands of dollars to be able to repair things back to the way it was. So let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. YouTube thinks you'll like this video popping up on screen right now, but hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like, and I'll talk to you guys later.